Hi, second graders. Today we are working on day 2 of lesson 13, which is about adding 3-digit numbers. And today's lesson we are going to focus on what do we have to do if we have to do some regrouping when we're adding our two numbers, okay? So before we get started in our instruction book, we're going to take a look at some examples of models to help us understand what we need to do. So let's take a look and see what I have here. I've got two numbers, two of the 3-digit numbers represented in models, and I see that I've got in the yellow I have 200 plus 20 plus 6. Okay, so I've got 200s models, 2 10s models, and 6 1s models. And then in the green, I also have 200 plus 30 plus 5. Okay, so I've got 200 models, 3 10s models, and 5 1s models. All right, so we are going to be adding those numbers together, and then we're going to take a look at what's going to happen when we have to do some regrouping. So the first thing I want to do is add my hundreds together. So if I have 200 plus 200, that is going to give me 400, and I'm just going to write it here. So 200 plus 200 is 400. 20 plus 30 equals 50, right? And then 6 plus 5 equals 11. All right, so the 6 and the 5 equaling 11, that's the place that's going to make us do some regrouping. So when I take a look at the number 11, okay, I'm going to write it over here. The number 11 shows me that I have 1 10, right, and 1 1. So if this is actually a 10, that means I can move that 10 over and add it with the other 10s that I have, right? So instead of 50, if I add 10 more to 50, that gets me 60, doesn't it? So I'm going to write my new equation. 400 is the same. Instead of 50, I actually will have 60, and then I just have 1 left over. So when I look at it that way, I can see that my answer is 461. 461. So that's what we did. That's how we did our regrouping. We looked at this number, the 11, and we could tell that we had 1 10 and 1 1 right there. And that's how we regrouped. We put that 10 over with the other 10s. Okay? All right, so now let's take a look at our math instruction book, and you should be on page 116. Now on 116, there is no writing for you, so you can put your pencil in your book and close it up and just take a look and pay attention to what I'm saying and how this page is giving us some examples of how we could go about and add these types of numbers together. So let's read. We're going to start by reading the little story that they've given us, and then we'll talk about how to go about answering the problem. It says there are 254 adults and 328 children helping to clean up their city. So I've got adults and I have children. How many people are helping to clean up the city? So children are people and adults are people. So that means they want us to add those two numbers together. So I'm just real quick going to write that equation here. 254 plus 328 equals question mark. So we need to find out what is the answer when we add those two numbers together. Okay, so the first example is to draw a picture of hundreds, tens, and ones models, okay? So they are going to show you that 254 is 200s models, 5 tens models, and 4 ones models. And the number 328 can be shown with 3 hundreds models, 2 tens models, and 8 ones models. When we add those all together, so we're going to just look at the hundreds first. When I add 200 plus 300, I get 5 hundreds. When I look at the tens place and add those tens together, I have 5 tens plus 2 more tens, and 5 plus 2 is 7. So I have 7 tens. And then when I add my ones place, I have 4 ones and 8 ones. And 4 plus 8 is 12 ones. Now, underneath that, which they didn't do for us, I'm going to go ahead and write down that 5 hundreds is the same as 500. 7 tens is the same as 70. And 12 ones is the same as 1 10 and 2 ones, isn't it? I'm going to go ahead and separate it. There's 1 10 and 2 ones, the values, okay? So I've got 500 plus 70 plus another 10 plus 2 ones. And I just want you to think about that, okay? Let's take a look at the other example. They're saying, you know what, we could take these numbers and break them up and use expanded form. That's one of my favorite ways to do it. So they're saying that 254 is the same as 200 plus 50 plus 4, and 328 is the same as 300 plus 20 plus 8. And when you add the columns together, 200 plus 300 gets me 500. 50 plus 20 is 70. And 4 plus 8 is 12, right? Just the same as they had up here, except it's expanded, so it's showing the values of those numbers. Again, you know that 12 is the same thing as 10 plus 2, right? So we could rewrite this out and say 500 plus 70 plus, instead of 12, we could do the 10 and the 2 and get our answer that way, okay? So when we look at that, we can easily put those 10s together. 70 plus 10 is 80, and my new equation then would say 500 plus 80, right? Because 70 plus 10 gets me 80. So 500 plus 80 plus 2, okay? And then the answer is 582. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to look at the next page. This is where our writing is going to come in. Okay, it says we're going to make a 10 to add, all right? It says look at the picture it. Those are the models, the place value blocks that they drew. Look at the picture it. How do you write 12 ones as 10s and 1s? Well, we know that 12 ones is the same as 1 10 and 2 ones, right? 1 10 and 2 ones. Let's take a look at the picture it. Okay, here's the picture it. When we put together 4 ones and 8 ones, we actually have 12 ones altogether, which is the same as a 10 and a 2, right? And 10 we know is 1 10. There it is. This one says, look at the model it. What is the total number of 10s if I have 70 plus 12? It wants to know what would the total 10s be. Well, here's the model it. If I have 70 plus 12, right, and I've already broken up the 12 for us, 12 is the same as 10 plus 2. So if I have 70 and 10, that actually gives me 80, okay? I don't have 80 tens, I have how many tens? 8 tens, correct? So we have 8 tens. And our explanation is because 7 tens plus 1 10 from the 12 equals 8 tens. Okay? So remember, you're on a recording, so you can always pause and finish writing, but I'm going to move on to the next question. It says, how many people are helping to clean the city, and show how to find the sum? Okay, so our total number, I'm going to go back up here. Remember, our total was 582, and show how we get the answer. So let's write 582, okay, show how to, that's our total, show how to find the sum, okay? So let's go ahead and we're going to write in expanded form. We're going to say 200 plus 50 plus 4, remember I'm getting this from the other page, the model it, plus 300 plus 20 plus 8, and we add those together. Okay, we're going to add our hundreds. 200 plus 300 gets us 500, plus 50 plus 20, remember, is 70, and 4 plus 8 equals 12. Okay, and when I add 500 plus 70 plus 12, which is the same as one more 10, right? And I'm going to add that to the 70. 70 plus 10 is 80, isn't it? So 582. All right. Let's take a look and see what they want us to do. They want us to find each sum, and you're going to show your work. So they want you to solve number 5, which is 526 plus 235, and you're going to show your work down below here. Let's go ahead and we'll just draw a line right there so that we can separate our workspace. So you're going to use this section here to show your work on how you're going to solve 526 plus 235, and then over here in this space you can use that section to solve 167 plus 426. Okay, so why don't you break the numbers apart in expanded form, just like we did up here for this problem. Use expanded form to get the answers. Find out what the answers are. You're going to pause the video and do all your work for both problems, and then you're going to come back and see how you compare with what I have. All right, so pause the video and get started working. Okay, I hope that you got the same answers that I did. For number 5, my total answer was 761. And what I did was I split up the numbers into place value, I used the expanded form. And so 526 is the same as 500 plus 20 plus 6. And 235 is the same as 200 plus 30 plus 5. So in the blue, I added the hundreds place first. 500 plus 200 is 700. In the red, I added the tens place, 20 plus 30, which got me 50. And then in the green, I added the ones place, 6 plus 5 equals 11. When I saw the 11, I knew that I could break that up into 10 plus 1, and that 10 gave me another 10 to add to 50. So I rewrote my problem. Instead of 700 plus 50 plus 10 plus 1, I just went ahead and added the 50 and the 10 together, and I got 60. So I said 700 plus 60 plus 1 is 761. Let's look at number 6. For number 6, I got 593 is my answer. And so I rewrote it in vertical form. I said 167 was the same as 100 plus 60 plus 7. And 426 is the same as 400 plus 20 plus 6. In the blue, I circled the hundreds place, 100 plus 400, and I got 500. In the red, I circled the tens, and I said 60 plus 20 equals 80. And then in the green, I circled the ones, and I said 7 plus 6 is 13. When I saw the 13, I knew that is 10 plus 3. So I added the 80 and the 10 together, and I got 90. So when I rewrote my equation, I put 500 plus 90 plus the leftover 3 ones, and that answer is 593. I hope you got the same answers. I hope that you listened to me earlier and wrote it out in expanded form to get your answers. And I hope that you fully understand how we can go about adding 3-digit numbers even when we have to do regrouping. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed today's lesson, and we will see you tomorrow with day 2 of lesson 13, adding hundreds, tens and ones, or adding 3-digit numbers. Goodbye.